Americans' attitudes towards the economy taking a sharp turn downward in the third quarter. CNBC All-America Economic Survey, with 41% of the public pessimistic about the current state of the economy and about the future. The poll registered the highest level of pessimism since October 2016. It represents a stark change from the heady days this time last year when the index was hitting all-time records. The good news, attitudes about the current state of the economy, they were little changed this quarter. The big move came from a 7-point drop in the outlook for the future. That's the biggest quarterly drop in that measure since 2011. The decline in optimism was picked up across political parties, but in a sign that impeachment could be having an impact, we conducted it last week. The largest drop has been registered among Republicans. This poll of 800 people nationwide also found that more than half of Republicans said they were concerned that impeachment could hurt the economy and the stock market. But there was more at work than just politics. Other key economic indicators in the poll also were down. Just 36% expect their wages to rise in the next year. That's the lowest since March 2016. Just 35% say now's a good time to invest in stocks, the lowest in 3 years. And with 23% saying the economy, only 23% saying the economy will improve, the surge in optimism that accompanied the election of President Trump and grew and sustained over the past 2 years, it's now wiped out back to before the election time. Still, 37% of the public say the economy will remain the same, and that would be pretty good. Only around a third expect recession this next year, within the next year. But it's the first time in the 11 polls we've conducted during the Trump presidency that the pessimists outnumber the optimists.
Can I just ask real quick? When you've done how many years have we been doing
12 years.
12 years.
Yeah.
It's been 12 years already.
And how good has it been?
You haven't changed a bit.
How good has it been as an indicator in terms of market and economy, and separate them?
It's a very good coincident indicator with what's going on in the market.
Okay.
It's quite remarkable that
you say coincident,
optimism,
but forward-looking or backward-looking?
In other words, coincident. At the moment,
okay.
it moves really well with the headlines. The optimism on the market, the poll,
right.
The people who responded to the poll, which were different every poll, completely missed the boom market of the in the last presidency.
Okay.
And they're a little bit more optimistic now, but they have not. People without stocks have been relatively pessimistic.
I mean, think about what technicians use, though, for sentiment indicators.
It could be
it's always contrarian.
I've done some work on it, Joe,
Yeah.
to try to correlate it with stocks, and it can be, and it isn't sometimes. What is interesting, though, guys, I don't know if you have that recession chart that we did with the 34% expecting recession. How great are they in the back there? That's little changed, which is important. So they don't expect the worst. And that number tends to get above 50% when we're either near or in recession. So that's a pretty good indicator there. It's also a pretty good indicator of the job market when people look at their wages. I'm really surprised to see that wage number, the wage expectation number, to be so down.
Me too, especially because we just heard from Dan Roth at LinkedIn saying this is absolutely still a worker's market. Let's bring in our guest. We'll continue.
Okay, I just want to say very quickly, chicken or egg, we don't know. Is it the politics affecting the economic outlook, the economic outlook affecting the politics?
Elizabeth Warren has risen in the polls. Trump, maybe, you've got the impeachment overhang. We've had discussions about whether the presidents really matter on the big frame of things with recessions, growth, whatever. But there are some people that argue, I mean, we had an analyst in that gave 3 parts of the stock market that you should actually either be selling or buying puts on if you think that her chances get better: healthcare, banks, and technology. So, I mean, the political backdrop is going to matter on how people feel about the
decline in
economy.
optimism among Republicans was stunning.